Hey everyone, welcome back. So this is USF 2000 at Lime Rock Park. This is a very short track, under a minute, and the grass is super close with very little runoff area, if at all, and very little braking as well. So you have to make sure you get your lines perfect. It's very much a momentum track, and just to make sure you try to lose as little speed as you possibly can in the corners, especially given that this car is quite underpowered. Then again, it's a fairly small track, so you don't really get to bury the throttle and get yourself out of a mistake. Your mistake really carries through for the rest of the lap, if not the next lap. So let's run through a very quick hot lap, and then I'll pause and talk you through each corner. So as we start, this is the first turn 1 and turn 2. This is a double apex right, so you want to be able to swing wider a little bit and cut back in, and then immediately you take a left, and this is left and then a straight right after this right, which means you have to sacrifice the exit of that initial left. I'll tell you a bit more about that later. After the straight, you have a really tight chicane. This is probably the hardest braking zone of the entire lap, and then after that you sort of lift off, right sweeper, and then you have this downhill turn that you turn flat out, no lift, nothing. So this is a very quick lap, and that's it. This is one lap. So how I did, I got 51 seconds and is 0.008 for this lap. And then I think it's fairly competitive. We have a bunch of cars in the 51s, 52s. I think this will be a very tight track. So I would say the strategy here is stay out of trouble. I see a lot of people spinning, myself included, and especially with the grass so close to the edge of the road, it's so easy for you to just put a wheel wrong and spin off. So the barriers are also pretty close, right after the grass. So I would say take this a little bit more conservative. That's how I would approach the race, and stay out of incidents. Fairly tight track as well. You'll have a lot of people who will be desperate to pass and killing each other. So let's take you through the lap and see how we do. So let's see. First straight, as soon as I get after the point, the one in between the 1 and 2 marker, I can't speak today. In between the 1 and 2 marker, right after the 2, you want to aim your corner, aim the nose of the car towards the corner, towards that little apex here, the first of the 2 apex. Remember, there's a double apex corner, and then you start braking. You want to downshift 3 times. You might get a little bit of oversteer, like what I'm doing right now. You might need to countersteer a little bit, but after that, you coast a little bit, tuck your nose in, and then you hit that second apex. And then immediately you want to swing back to the right, so that you can go through this left corner and exit back on the left-hand side here. And I think the trick here is to be on the left-hand side of this track, of this portion, so that you can swing back right full throttle all the way through here, meaning you can maximize that very short straight that you have. And it's if you look at here, you have to be able to open up that corner, because if you just exit normally and end up on the right-hand side here, this will be a very sharp curve, and you'll be a sitting duck for someone who has a good run by opening up the corner. So you want to swing left, and then cut back to the right, clipping the second half of that curve. And then watch out here. It's super easy for you to end up in the barriers. You just put one wheel on the grass, and you could just swing into the barriers. They're super close, as I said. Now into the straight. That's it. I mean, it's not much. Right before this big tree here, that's where I sort of see it as a breaking point. Or if you're on the right, you have this little porta potty in the blue right here. That's the breaking point for me. and then you brake hard, 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 and then as you let go of the brakes, you want to steer and trail brake in. Use the weight on the front nose to help you steer, and then as you get into the first corner, you can gas out. But I would say be really careful. Each of these three red curbs are nasty. They're massive. They will damage your car. I've experimented a little bit just to purposely hit the curb and go back in the pit, see if I get a repair. Yes, I do. So try not to hit them. And if you do hit them straight on, you basically destroy your front wing. So avoid them. And then as well, you want to miss this left curb as well, because this left curb is also quite high and it would also unsettle the car. So as soon as you exit out of here, you can brush that little left curb, but otherwise lean towards the left here. And then you want to lift for this corner. Is an early apex corner. It's sort of this corner sort of widens over I would say the course of the radius. Like all of a sudden it opens up, so you hit that apex pretty early on, and you can lift off a little bit and just go flat out, because you also want to stay on the left. And this is where it's, I think, you separate the people who really have full confidence in their car versus the people who I think are still struggling with how this car handles. So this corner, you take full throttle, flat out. As soon as your car dips, you turn in because your weight's on the front nose, and then you just hug the inside curb, straighten out the car, and then full throttle out. And I think this lap I'm at, let's see, 51.032. So just slightly slower than the last one. And I'm guessing it's probably the slight oversteer in turn one, where I lost a little bit of time. But other than that, that's it for this lap. I think this lap time should be competitive as long as you stay out of trouble. So let me know if that helps, and I hope it does. And if it is, give me a thumbs up or subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.